All right, we're going to draw a map, but forget countries or cities. We're talking about mapping the invisible connections that really shape our entire digital lives. Seriously, just think about it for a second. You know that group chat you have? For class or maybe your main crew on WhatsApp? You know exactly how it works, right? There are the people who talk to everyone, then the ones who only talk to their best friends, and then you've got those key people who are like bridges, connecting totally different friend groups. Now, what if you could actually draw a picture of all that?
Well, guess what? That picture you just made up in your head, that map of all those connections, that is a network. And today, we're going to decode its language. By the end of this, you'll be able to look at almost any social map and understand exactly what's going on.
Okay, so to understand how these maps work, we've got to start with the most basic piece of the puzzle. We're talking about the points.
In the world of network science, we call these points nodes. A node is really just any single thing, any entity in the network we're looking at. Super simple. It's the individual dot on our map.
And this is what's so cool about it. A node can be almost anything. In your class group chat, every single student is a node. On Instagram, yep, every user account is a node. It could even be a specific website or a single YouTube video. Basically, nodes are the who or the what of any network.
All right, so we've got our dots, but let's be real. A page full of dots isn't really a map, is it? It's just a bunch of disconnected points. What we really need are the lines that connect everything.
And those connections, we call them edges. An edge is just the relationship between two of our nodes. It's literally the line we draw on the map to show that two of our dots are connected in some way.
So, what actually creates an edge in our digital world? Well, it's all about action. Every time you send a message in that group chat, you're creating an edge. When you accept a friend request or you follow a new account, boom, you've just drawn another line on that map. Okay, so dots and lines, nodes and edges. Seems pretty simple, right? But this is where things get a little more interesting. Are all those connections, all those lines we're drawing, really the same? No way! There's a really key difference. So on one side, you have undirected connections. Think of this like a two-way street. A Facebook friendship is the perfect example, right? If you're friends with someone, they have to be friends back with you. It's totally mutual. But then you have directed connections. These are more like a one-way street. Think about following someone on Twitter or Instagram. You can follow them, but there's no guarantee they're going to follow you back. That connection has a very specific direction, and believe me, that distinction is super, super important. So we've got our building blocks now, the nodes and the edges. Let's zoom out a little bit and see how these simple pieces come together to build the massive networks we are all a part of every single day. And I mean, you see this stuff everywhere once you know what to look for. You've got your classic social networks built on relationships, like Facebook friends. Then there are communication networks, like a company email chain, just mapping who's talking to whom. You even have hyperlink networks, which map how websites link to each other. That's basically the secret sauce behind how search engines work. And of course, there are content networks, like the massive web of connections that powers YouTube's recommendation engine and decides what you see next. Okay, so this is all pretty cool, but let's get to the most important question, right? So what? Why does making these maps actually matter?
It matters because it lets us see the invisible. Seriously, once you actually map out the nodes and edges, you're not just drawing a pretty picture. You're revealing the hidden forces, the invisible structures that control how information flows and how we all connect with each other. So what can this map actually show us? Oh, a ton. We can instantly see who the most influential people are. Those are the nodes with the most connections. We can find hidden communities and little friend groups you didn't even know existed. We can literally trace how a meme or a piece of news spreads through the network. And maybe most importantly, we can pinpoint those key people who are the bridges connecting completely different groups.
And hey, this isn't just some abstract theory. This kind of analysis is happening all the time, all around you. It's the engine behind the marketing campaigns you see, and it's what powers the AI that recommends what you should watch or buy or listen to next.
So to bring this all full circle, I want you to think about your own social world for a second. Now that you know how these maps are built, who do you think is the most important node in your network? The answer? Well, it just might surprise you.